Welcome back to Crafting with Brandy. For those that are new, I'm Brandy Pate, and I am just showing you some of the things that I have to do today. So one of my projects for today is that I'm going to be planting some garlic. I have purchased several bulbs of garlic, and a lot of them were starting to root. I know we're supposed to be planting garlic in October, so that it could stratify in the cold. That's what I learned from watching Acre Homestead and some other videos here on YouTube. And I decided that since these are already sprouting, I'm gonna give it a shot for the first time ever. I've already yesterday worked on pulling my compost out of my compost bin, mixing it with soil, getting it all prepared and ready to go. So now I went ahead and pulled out some bulbs that I'll show you, and that I split them up as to parts that I'm going to roast and parts that I'm going to plant, and we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, we just have the top sprouts and we can have some garlic scapes and just cut those off and eat those as well. So we'll see what happens, but it's worth a shot. Even though it's late in the season, I'm feeling frisky, so we're gonna do that. Okay, so let me show you what I have. So I did not buy from seed. I just went ahead and bought these from the grocery store. They were on sale. It was a huge bag of them, and I purposely bought them because I noticed that some of them had the green coming out of the top of them, and so you wouldn't be able to eat them anyway, so I figured I would go ahead and see what happens. Just out of curiosity, more of a curiosity than anything else, because I'd missed the growing season, and I'm really trying to focus on not growing flowering plants this year, but growing edible fruits and vegetables. So I had 4 bulbs that had the sprouts coming out of them. So I went ahead and peeled the ones that were actually, edible, that I was going to be able, and I'm going to roast these tonight. And I use this cool tool that I have. You just stick them inside of here and you just roll it back and forth and dump it, and all of the shells come out. I should have shown you that. I'll show it to you the next time I do it. And then these are all the ones that had the little bit of sprout coming out of them, as you could see. So I know you're supposed to plant them with the root side down. And here in Alabama, it's still 30 degrees outside. So I was kind of hoping that even though it's not October, if I got them out now in a pot, I would probably do like 10 or 12 in a large pot. Then maybe they could stratify in the soil since it's still really cold. And then maybe by the spring we'll have some, but I've got to do some more investigation. But like I said, worst case scenario, I'll at least have the top part of these, and we'll see what happens. And it's not going to hurt anything because I couldn't eat these anyway. So there is that. And let me show you my soil and everything outside. Hey, Binky, can we come outside? All right. So we're going to come on outside. And just outside here, I have my compost. I keep that little compost bin in the kitchen next to where I cook, and this is where I normally keep my herb garden. I've got to cut all of these things down. I've got to till the soil and get it ready. And there's our lemon tree that we did not winterize, but this is the simple composter I have. It's nothing too extravagant. It's just simple for us and living in our area. And so you just have 2 sides to it. I've just switched it over, so this side is very, very full. This was the plus side before, where you would add stuff to the plus side. And so you could see that we've been adding things. There's eggshells, there's different things in there. And now it was time for us to swap. So yesterday I emptied out the other side that was done, and you just slide this out and switch it around. So now I have my starter on this side, and you can tell I've already added a whole thing of new compost to it. It's got eggshells and carrot peelings, and these little green things you see, that's the compostable bag that I put inside the inside compost bucket, and that way it's easier to carry it out here, and they break down. Typically I try and shred it up, but it does break down. So, and then I have a bag of compost starter, which I'll show you. So far all I've done is taken a pot of regular potting soil and then mix it in and put all my compost in here and then tossed it together. So that's my current compost. I still need to fertilize it and everything else. So I'm trying to decide what pots I'm going to do the garlic in right now. and get it to grow. It's going to be a pot probably bigger than this one, probably a rubber pot that I can move around according to where it needs to be placed. I need to research what type of sun it needs to have. And then again, I need to clean all of this up because we're going to plant there this year and get it all cleaned out. So this is the compost starter I've been using. I just put a handful of this. There's measurements on the back for the square footage that you're using. So I use the appropriate amount for my composter, and I just sprinkle that in to get it started. And then every time you add something to it, you spin the compost machine several times. And like I mentioned, this is my compost bucket that I've been using. Here's the bags. I can link these down below, but I just keep this on my counter all the time. It has a charcoal filter in it, so even with all this garlic, this will sit here on the counter. I mean, I fill mine pretty quickly, so it'll probably be full within 2 days because, you know, I cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I'll go dump it out there. And sometimes I try and shred this thing after I dump it, or I just toss this bit. But I have all of the peels from the garlic in there. It actually smells really good in here right now. And then I just put that lid on there. And this is my first time using this type of bag. I had a different bag before, but I couldn't find them. But I'll link these below. Both of these I just got off of Amazon and show those to you. That's what I use to store them here. It makes it a lot easier so you don't get the goo in the bottom of the compost. It makes it a lot easier to transport it to your composter. So there you go. So of course I hit the wrong button and didn't record this, but what I was just saying was that oftentimes when you go to the grocery store, like in the wintertime when I don't have fresh herbs and I don't want to use dry, I want to use fresh, I oftentimes will just buy an actual basil plant as opposed to buying those pre-cut kind. And oftentimes I keep it alive for a while in the house, but if it happens to die off like this one did, I just crumple it up and I added it to my compost. I went ahead and dumped in all of those garlic peels and everything that I had, and then, like I had said just a moment ago, you go ahead and rock it back and forth so that you can get like any water or debris, and then you spin this 3 times, and then I check it afterwards. So I had shared that and probably some other wonderful composting tips a moment ago, but didn't hit record. You know, it happens. You're busily going. I'm not used to having a camera with me, but I just thought I do all these things throughout the day, and I figured I would share them. But I want to go ahead and move the compost soil that I had already taken out of here that's in the wheelbarrow. I'm going to go ahead and till that, and I'm going to go find a bucket so later today I can go ahead and plant the garlic. It's still freezing outside, so I should be able to plant it. At the moment, at the moment it's warmer. It's in its 50s, 60s, but it's been getting down into the 20s and 30s at night. So I don't know if the garlic will, what is the word she used, stratify, if it's way too late in the season, but you know, we'll figure that out. But anyway, and then I do keep these little things and just try and reuse them, or I recycle them. But all right, on to the next task. So I hadn't really decided the situation here yet. I don't really have that many buckets. All my buckets are full of old stuff right now because I did all flowering plants last year. So I have this one bucket that's empty. You're supposed to do, like, garlic is supposed to be, and I'm getting all this information from watching way too many YouTube videos. Primarily I watched Acre Homestead, Becky at Acre Homestead. I really enjoy listening to her. She's very soothing. Her and I love Little Mountain Ranch. Those are 2 of my favorites. But I went ahead and grabbed the biggest bucket I could find. She says they're supposed to be approximately 6 inches apart, but she's always planted hers at 4 inches apart and never seemed to have a problem. So a square foot would be roughly 9 of them. So I think this is a little bit bigger than a square foot. So I'm going, the key to this is whether I have enough soil, to do this bucket or not. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it. This soil is good new soil, and it's also compost that I created myself, and I think I'm going to have enough. So I'm going to fill this bucket soil. What I really need to do is get some type of something so that I could take the phone around with me and or video camera and mount it so that you guys can see better. That's going to be the key to making videos, because I do a lot of stuff and I know a lot of stuff, but if I can't film it correctly for you, you won't really enjoy it, will you? So, and I do have a microphone, but it is a corded microphone, and I think I'd rather something I could move around with. Okay, so I got this all the way full, and that's still a half of a wheelbarrow full of compost and good soil. So I'm going to start with one of the things she had was so cool. It was like this little square, planting square, and then it has holes in it, and you could poke the holes in it. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of go around the edge and then a couple in the center, and I'm going to focus on the ones that already have a little sprout in them. And I know that you put the root side down, and then this point side up is the part that's going to obviously grow up. I'm going to go ahead and plant that whole green. I'm going to grab a couple of these so that I can get them with my gloves, and I'm just going to plant those in the ground in this pot, about this deep into the pot. I'm taking the ones that are, she said to use the, you want to use the cloves that are much bigger, because the bigger the clove, the bigger your bulb is going to be. So I'm trying to dump these out so that I can, and you do want to leave the little skin on it too. So some of these do not have their skin on them. So we're going to try it out. If they start growing, fantastic. If they do not, oh well, I wouldn't have eaten them anyway. I have so many that are in, so many inside. This is another one. So I'm just kind of going, every 4 inches around the edge, and then I'll probably do about 3 in the middle. And then I'll need to do, I have some markers inside and some plant markers, plant stakes, and I'll go ahead and mark them. This one's huge, so I'll do that one. And I might put one more, because I'm thinking not all of these are going to go. This one is huge, so I'm going to do that. Then I'll probably try and go to the store or something and grab some more pots, even some plastic tubs or something like that, some planting tubs, and go ahead and make some more. I could very easily do this small one, but there's so many. If I could get another pot or bucket this size, then I think that would benefit me more, because then I could do all of these. You can still hear Sam coughing inside. I just fed him some chicken and wild rice soup, which he did not care for, so I finished. Then I made him some, like a cheese roll-up, which he said tasted funny. I think his just taste buds are off. So then I ended up making him peanut butter. I had made potato bread the other night. I had made bread. I've been making lots of bread, which I'll share with you. But I made bread, and so I thought, oh, I'll make him some. He loves toast with peanut butter and bananas on it. And I gave it to him, and he made a face, and at that point he had turned away 3 different things that he said tasted bad, and he goes, what kind of bread is this? And I realized it was garlicky potato bread is what I had made. So it had like powdered garlic potatoes plus garlic powder and a bunch of stuff in it, so they're really savory bread, and then it had sweet peanut butter and bananas on it, and he was like, it tastes garlicky and salty. And he's so sweet. He was like, thank you for waiting on me. Thank you for doing this for me. He didn't want to insult me by any means. He's absolutely precious, precious child. And he felt bad saying, I don't like this. So he ended up just licking the peanut butter and the banana off of it. I felt bad. That was my bad. Mom fail. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put this. I have no idea. I never found out where this is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be in a super cold place, in a sunny place, I don't know. So for right now, I'm just gonna set it over here next to my lemon tree. I'm gonna get a stake so I can mark that the date and what I planted in here, and get this cleaned up, and then I gotta go inside and message all those people who I just put their orders out and made. All right, I showed last week our composter, and I have this full of compost, which it rained, so now it's full of water underneath the tarp, so I got to get that out. But this is where we normally have our herb garden. I just bought that strawberry bush because they were on sale, and that's our lemon tree. So I need to trim off the dead stuff off of that, and I need to clean all this out and fill it with new compost, new soil. I bought this, and then I bought some worm castings and vermiculite and some other stuff. This is our garlic, and if you look, there's little baby garlics growing. They seem to be happy. I can see 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 growing in there. So we'll see if more grow, but that's a good sign.